For thousands of years, humans have looked up at the night sky and asked one simple question: are we alone? We've actively tried to introduce ourselves. We even attached this golden record to the Voyager spacecraft, etching our basic planetary coordinates into its surface to carry our message into the void. Yet, after decades of listening and broadcasting, the receivers remain quiet. We haven't confirmed a single piece of evidence that anyone is out there. The cosmos is deafeningly silent. That total lack of a response leaves us feeling completely isolated in an ocean of dead rock and empty space. Now, consider a scenario where that isolation breaks down on our own turf. Imagine a modern, international team drilling deep beneath the Antarctic ice, strictly to extract climate data. At 3,000 meters down, their drill abruptly halts. It hasn't hit rock or ice. It has struck a solid, perfectly smooth metallic object. When independent laboratories analyzed a core sample, the findings contradict known chemistry. The alloy contains elements that shouldn't be bonded together, and standard carbon dating yields no results. Instead, radioactive decay analysis dates the object's burial to roughly 200,000 years ago. That places it in the ice long before Homo sapiens even existed. The site is immediately classified, but a discovery of this magnitude inevitably leaks. Within weeks, stock markets plunge globally as governments militarize the Antarctic zone to secure the breach. Finding this machine forces a rewrite of our origins. It means that while our ancestors were developing the first basic stone tools, someone else was already here, engineering advanced alloys. The artifact itself reveals no seams, no rivets, and no signs of welding. But etched into its dark surface is a deliberate sequence of marks. Scientists quickly realize this sequence maps perfectly to prime numbers: 2, 3, 5, and 7. Since primes are only divisible by themselves and 1, they prove this is a calculated mathematical message rather than abstract art. We actually have a real-world equivalent to this search. Back in 1977, researchers used massive satellite arrays to sweep the skies for extraterrestrial intelligence. This computer printout shows the data from map search, a 72-second unexplained sequence of characters from deep space. A researcher wrote "wow" next to it, and it remains our strongest candidate for an alien contact event. Because mathematics is a universal constant, these carvings function as a technical signature. They indicate that the object is a transmitter, waiting for a listener who understands the logic. The situation escalates when the artifact is moved to a secure lab in Geneva. The metallic cylinder begins to hum, and a localized magnetic field starts to physically blur the air around it. Suddenly, it projects a hologram. This illustration of the Milky Way shows a detailed galactic map, complete with spiral arms and distance markers. The projection focuses on a single star system, pulsing with crimson light, 4,200 light-years away. Let's stop the story right here. This Antarctic artifact is entirely a thought experiment. There are no buried machines or holographic maps in the ice. However, the premise of this fiction is highly valuable. While the glowing map is fake, the mathematical logic of using primes for contact and the existential questions it forces us to consider are completely real and actively debated by scientists today. The thought experiment highlights the Fermi paradox, the stark scientific contradiction between the high probability of extraterrestrial life and the absolute lack of visual or radio evidence for it. The universe contains trillions of galaxies, each with billions of stars. It is mathematically highly improbable that Earth is the only rock capable of supporting intelligent biology. This represents a massive, unexplained gap in our understanding of why the universe looks so empty, when the odds suggest it should be crowded. One hypothesis attempts to explain this eerie quiet, known as the dark forest theory. The core concept is simple. Imagine a dark, incredibly dense forest at night. If you make a sound or light a fire to broadcast your location, hidden predators will find and destroy you. Applying this back to our Antarctic thought experiment changes the context of the buried metal. Whoever left the artifact under the ice chose to stay hidden to ensure their survival. The silence of the cosmos isn't due to emptiness. It is a calculated, biological survival strategy in a hostile universe. A discovery like this would split global opinion. One side would argue for immediate contact, while the other would demand absolute silence to avoid the attention of a superior predator. It leaves a haunting image of two distant civilizations, light years apart, sitting in the dark and silently waiting to see who reveals themselves first. If you were in that room, how would you vote? Would you send a signal back to that star map, or remain absolutely silent in the dark? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed deep space mysteries and the future of humanity, subscribe to the channel. The next great revelation might not come from the stars. It might be buried right beneath our feet.